All right, all right, all right. Welcome to Take 5. So today we have a new moon in Libra, beginning the week with an intention of where do we want to create more balance in our lives. It's a powerful time of manifesting. What is it that we need to create intention wise in order to create more balance in our life and bring more light and support those around us and surround ourselves with people that support us? So we'll begin with setting an intention while closing the eyes, and any kind of a sitting position is fine as long as it's comfortable to be sustained for a few minutes while we're doing some breath work and centering into the present moment. Notice the breath. Where is it today? And begin to relax the face, space between the eyebrows and the jaw and the eyes. Relax the shoulders. If they're up towards your ears, you want to relax them back and down. Maybe place the palms up to receive energy, or palms down to ground. Relax the torso, the abdominal, the legs, the feet. And here in Take 5, we're studying ourselves and setting ourselves up for success by spending just 5 minutes daily before all the distractions come up to us, to just center and take the day versus the day taking us. So Monday, starting the week, we'll begin with some relaxing breath work. It's called alternate nostril breathing. So what that is helping you to calm down your nervous system, your entire system actually, and get you to respond versus react to situations and external circumstances. So we'll get the thumb and the pointer finger, or any finger really, but the thumb is one of them. And then we will place on the nostrils, one covered at a time, while we're inhaling through the other one. So if I place my thumb on my right nostril, I would inhale through the left. Then cover the left and exhale through the right. Then inhale through the right, cover the right, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, cover the left, exhale through the right. Keep that. Inhale, cover, exhale, uncover. Inhale, cover, exhale through the other one, uncover. Uncover that exhale, of course. Inhale, cover, exhale through the other one, uncover. Keep that for a couple of minutes, alternating nostril breathing. When you do this practice on your own, usually 26, 28 times repetition is great, as one time counts on both sides. If like you inhale through the right and exhale through the left, and then inhale through the left and exhale through the right, that's one round. And then do that for 26 or 28 times. This also helps you balance between the two hemispheres, the left and the right of the brain. If you do this long enough, for some time, not within the same day, of course, you'll be able to actually practice this without covering your nostrils, but just control the airflow through one nostril in and then through the other nostril out. It's a great focused meditation. Notice where the breath is. Is it shallow? Can you move it more towards the belly, expanding the belly forward on an inhalation, keeping the spine straight? Belly towards the spine on exhalation. Breathe. Now, can you add a little bit of visualization to that breath? Imagine when you inhale white light all the way to the bottom of the belly. And then on exhalation, this white light gets straight out of the crown chakra, out of your head, pointing outwards towards the cosmos, giving love. Inhale love, exhale love to everyone that needs it. All your friends, family members, those that you don't know. Just visualizing that white light all the way in. into the belly, out, all the way through the top of the head, distributing everywhere on Earth, around Earth, in the cosmos, very far. You are more powerful than you can even imagine. Set an intention for the practice. It could be just for this practice, or it could be for the day, or for the month. Repeat it 3 times in your head. Let's inhale, hands above the head, interlace fingers, and pointing the palms up towards the sky. On inhalation, we're going to gain a little bit more length into the spine, all the way from the sitting bones. On exhalation, we'll rotate about 45% of what we can, not to the full extent, 45% only, 50 towards the left or right, doesn't matter. And keep breathing, especially into the opposite side of the rotation. Inhale back to neutral and to the other side on exhale, trying to keep the length of the spine as much as possible. And back to neutral. Once more on the other side. Keep breath in and breath out. Back into neutral and to the other side. Inhale all the way in, exhale all the way out. Back to neutral, hands floating down. So in this one, you want to always match the breath with the movement. For this one specifically is really important. Expanding the belly forward on inhalation while moving the hands up. And really quickly exhale everything out, trying to maintain the length of the spine, of course. So no collapsing on exhalation. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, exhale. So it's a little bit quicker paced. So let's shorten the distance. Up is going to be always as much as possible while the head, but when you lower it, not all the way down, then maybe like halfway. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Relax the hands down with the palms up, maybe in front of you, in this mantra, maybe just on the knees. Return the breath to normal. Keep the spine straight. We'll do one more round of this energizing breath. And let's begin. Inhale, hands up. And when you're ready to lower them halfway, just like before, exhale down. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. When you inhale, kind of force the breath in. Try to get as much as possible air all the way down to the bottom of the belly as fast as you can. If you have enough of that, let's place the hands with the palms up. Close the eyes for a second. Come back to your intention from the beginning of the class. And also keep in mind that anything that we're practicing, we can always get out of a pose, take a break, lay down, go to child's pose, anything that's convenient and comfortable and feels good. We want to honor our bodies, our spirits, and some days we're in different place and we're also different place with others. So it's important to be aware where we're at and honor that. So wherever we are right now sitting, we're going to move the feet in front of us with straight legs. Straight legs in front of us, using the hands to support us. Have a stronger spine. And we'll move forward towards the feet. Long, strong legs. Straight. Maybe even move the toes towards your nose. Flexing the foot, both of the feet. On inhalation, gaining strength and strong straight spine, moving forward on exhalation. Point the toes forward and then flex the toes towards you. Also incorporate breath with that. So toes out and away from you. Inhale, exhale, toes towards you. At the same time, pushing yourself forward towards the feet. So chest is moving towards the feet in that direction. Legs have these big groups of muscles. They require a little bit more time than anything else really in our bodies to release. Use the breath to release in the pose. That way the body responds versus reacts. And then you can move this same philosophy into your daily life and your thoughts. Instead of reacting to things, maybe you can be responding. It just kind of puts different perspective into things. We'll slowly inhale ourselves out of this pose and spread the legs probably 70%. So not all the way. Hands above the head. And then we'll rotate towards the left leg and then square shoulders right above the knee as we're moving forward towards the left foot. Watch out here with the lower back. So there might be something that would give in the lower back if your spine is not as straight as possible. Use the core to support you in a straighter spine. In those stretches with legs, it's very important to keep the core strong. So that way, the spine muscles are not giving away to the leg muscles that you're stretching. As the leg muscles are super strong, and usually the first thing that gives in are the muscles in the spine. So you want to concentrate on stretching and relaxing the leg muscles, and the core is more like strong and tight. So relaxing the leg, the strong core. Inhale up, same thing on the other side, rotating, squaring the shoulders above the right leg and moving forward. Strong core here, so don't collapse towards the stretch. You want to keep straight, strong core, and focusing on relaxing the entire back of the right leg, but at the same time, strong core. So core is contracted. Inhale back up and to the other side once more. You could drop the hands down if you can keep the integrity of the pose. So trying to lean into the stretch, but at the same time, maintain that strength in the core. Send the breath to the land of the left leg. Inhale and exhale. Full expression of the breath. Inhale, lifting back up, and we'll square towards the right leg. On the other side. Inhale and exhale. Moving back up. So this time, let's elevate both arms above the head, and then we will kind of go rainbow wise towards the left, but face forward. And then inhale up, and then towards the right. We're still stretching the legs here. Even though it doesn't seem like we're stretching the legs, we're still stretching the legs. That's main concentration. Strong straight spine and hinge towards the left, facing forward with the chest, with the face, and then exhale towards the other side. Inhale up, and then exhale towards the other side. Really good for your core, really good for your spine. Little muscles that are so little compared to the leg muscles that you want to really spend more time on the leg muscles to relax them and just keep moving with the flow. One side, up, the other side. Inhale up, exhale to the other side. Inhale up, exhale to the other side. Really, really good for your core. And when you're ready, let's slowly place your feet in front of you, um, touching each other. Strong straight spine, moving the knees into direction to the ground, maybe helping the knees with the elbows. And breathe. So remember your intention from the beginning of the class. You can grab some water. And slowly we will transition into tabletop. Hands and knees underneath us. Inhale, head and tailbone up towards the sky, and exhale, both left knee towards the chin. So inhale, tailbone and chin as much as possible, just in tabletop. So inhale, chin and tailbone up towards the sky. Exhale, just moving the knee towards the chin. And back to tabletop, but up with the chin and with the tailbone. And then just the knee towards the chin. Inhale up, and then exhale, knee towards the chin. Long breaths. And switch the sides, so the other side. Tailbone and chin up towards the sky, and on exhale, moving the right knee towards the chin and round the back. Where's the breath? Is it restricted or it's full expression? And when you're ready, move into child's pose. So sit on the feet, moving the arms in front of you. You can have this as a resting pose anytime throughout the practice. You can have it as a resting pose or more of an active pose, and more active would be walking the fingertips actively far away from the sitting bones. That way, creating a lot of space from the tailbone to the crown of the head and really expanding through the fingertips, actively pulling them out. And when you're ready, walk the hands towards you and find tabletop again. And tuck the toes and lift up the tailbone towards the sky into downward facing dog. And here you want to be pressing the ground away as much as possible with the hands, and then maybe pedal one heel at a time, left and then right, and then left and then right. Pushing the chest towards the thighs. Look at your navel. Or if you can't look at the navel, look at your thighs. Full breath. Begin to walk the feet towards the hands and then walk the hands towards the feet to meet them into forward fold. Inhale into flat back. Hands on the shins. Exhale all the way down. Forward fold. Inhale yourself one vertebrae at a time all the way up. Inhale, hands above the head. And exhale, forward fold. Strong straight spine when you're forward folding. And then just completely fold yourself like a ragdoll, hanging. Maybe grab opposite elbows. And slowly begin to lift back up, one vertebra at a time. And once you find yourself up, you want to ground yourself and find stability in right foot as the left one elevates from the ground, and then try to not be like to one side or to the other side, but then strong straight right foot as the left one elevates either like below the knee or above the knee, but then you really want to concentrate on having this strong one foot grounded down. What helps with these balancing poses is, of course, we get out of it sometimes and then get back in. When you get back in, you want to very, very slowly get back into the pose. Because if you go too fast in, you're using momentum and losing balance. To gain more balance, you want to very slowly sneak in into the pose. So slowly and breathe. And many oftentimes we're different from the left side and from the right side. Sometimes one is more balanced or it's just easier to get in. No judgment, just noticing things. Also, when we're doing those balancing poses, it's good to think the entire foot, distributing the weight through the entire foot. So see if you're a little bit on the right side of the foot or on the left side of the foot, or you can distribute it evenly. And also spreading the toes helps. Maybe begin to grow the tree branches as arms go up. And we'll change the legs. So everything goes back down to the ground. Maybe walk it off a little bit. My floors are making weird noises here. So ground through the left. Elevating the other one up. And maybe grow the tree branches on this side as well. Full expression of the breath. Inhale all the way in. Exhale all the way out. being present, being in the moment. And let's get everything back to the ground. Walk it off. And back to the mat. Hugging the knees towards the chest. And rounding the back. So hugging the knees, rounding the back. And then maybe tuck the face towards the knees. See, maybe you notice some stretch between the shoulder blades there and in the back of the neck and maybe in the lower spine. Send the breath to the place that needs it. And from here, we're gonna find our way back into tabletop. And from tabletop, we'll find our way into downward facing dog. Tabletop. Always when you're on your hands and they're straight, try to keep them shaft lock as much as possible. Elevating up into downward facing dog. Look forward towards the hands. Move left foot forward. Plant the back heel down and elevate into warrior one. Squaring the hips forward and elevating the torso so the energy goes straight out through the hands into the cosmos. Both feet are strong and grounded. This is a very, very powerful pose for building self-confidence. Also the next one. So let's move sideways with the hands, warrior two. So here the hips are sideways. One straight line from the middle finger of the front hand to the middle finger of the back hand. Also notice if the hands are on the same plane. Sometimes one is lower than the other one. So we want to check on that. Also notice if the torso is forward. Many oftentimes we just lean forward in this pose. Try to be straight and up. And of course, tracking the front knee outwards and forward. Out and forward. All right. And let's straighten both legs and turn to the side of the right foot. And exhale with a strong straight spine, forward fold. Place the hands down and then begin to walk the hands with the fingertips pointed backwards and palms down. Begin to walk them behind you. See if you can walk them some more. And begin walking them back out in front of you from backwards to forward. And then we're just gonna switch into warrior one on the other side. So right leg bends in the knee, left heel tracks back, and we're squaring the hips forward towards the right, elevating up above the head with the hands. Energy goes straight from the core up towards the cosmos through the arms. Squaring the hips forward towards that right foot, right leg, and moving maybe the right shoulder a little bit more back. Exhale into warrior two. Here also, we're trying to look into both of the hands being on the same plane. So one is not higher than the other one. And then see if you can track your entire torso back. So you're straighter. Instead of like leaning forward, so you're straighter. This is a very, very common thing that I see. And guilty of doing it too. So constantly reminding myself as well when I am in warrior two, it's like, oh, am I like leaning towards that front foot, front leg, whatever. And then bringing myself back up with strong, straight core. Where is the breath? Where is the intention? Do we remember it? I do. And moving forward back into, just turn towards the left, and the same thing here. So moving down with the hands, and maybe this time point the toes outwards. If it's uncomfortable on the knees, then don't point them too much outwards. So sometimes that might be like a little bit uncomfortable on the knees. Begin walking the hands back. And then place the toes, the fingers, I'm sorry, pointing back, spreading them, very, very big spread into the fingers, and then the palms are down. Where's the breath? See if you can flex the toes and then relax them. Flex, inhale, exhale, relax the toes. And then slowly just move a little bit forward with the hands. So not so much back anymore, a little bit forward. And then push the ground away as you round the back, creating spacing between the shoulder blades. Where is the breath? Okay, very slowly begin to exit the pose, walk the hands forward, and find yourself into a sitting position. And in this sitting position, we will move right knee forward, and then the left one is going to go on the top of the right knee. This could be a pretty uncomfortable pose, and it's a lot of our hips are really tight from sitting all the time or driving, and they just get very tight. So that could be very, very uncomfortable. If you can't, you're not really goal, but direction into where we're going is like trying to stack the knees. It's really hard for me, and it's hard for you too. It's okay to move a little bit forward with the left foot, but if you can bring it towards your hip and then kind of have both of your sitting bones on the ground, then that's it. That's even better. But then use your breath to kind of gauge how far are you too deep than what you can handle right now, and are you honoring your body? Like for example, if your breath cannot go through the full of expression out, you're too much in. So then you have to like back up a little bit to where like notice where the breath is at. Okay, I can breathe. Then that's fine. So if you do too much of that, it's never too much. It's just one of those things. The leg muscles are always so tight that just keep this in your arsenal of daily practice. I never really liked that pose, but that means I need more of it. So hands on the star, moving left and right and expanding the chest, and then we'll move left arm forward, right arm forward underneath the left, eagle arms. And you can do that, or you can hug shoulders. If you do hug shoulders, then walk the fingertips towards each other on the back. And where's the breath? Moving the chin towards the chest, expanding the shoulder blades again. Straighten the left arm and then help it move more towards the right with the right arm. And then look towards the left. So left arm straight, right arm helps it go more towards the right, and then looking towards the left. That could intensify that stretch in the left hip. Just send the breath to where it's needed. Try to maintain the length of the spine as you exit the pose. Strong straight spine out. And then we'll hug both knees. And we'll change. The left leg goes underneath. Right one goes on top, stacking the knees, trying to have both sitting bones on the ground. So the right sitting bone would wanna come up, but you wanna kind of get in there, and then the legs cross. So you don't wanna jeopardize the integrity of both sitting bones on the ground, just in order to move the right knee on the top of the left. So if you have to back off a little bit with the top leg, but you want to have the sitting bones, both of them on the ground, because that is helping to protect the spine. Otherwise, the leg muscles, of course, are going to make the spine muscles give in. Remember, in the spine, we have lots of muscles, but very small ones compared to the leg muscles, that they're not that many, but they're super big, like a powerhouse of muscles. So those usually overpower the spine muscles. That's why a lot of people have back problems because of tight legs or improperly stretching to where their spine is collapsing towards the stretch of the legs, but at the same time, when that happens, it's actually kind of damaging those spine muscles. So you always want to have the straight spine when you're stretching the legs, and always stretch the legs more than anything else. So that way they're not really pulling on the spine muscles as much. They're kind of like there, just not tight all the time. Hope that makes sense. I can elaborate more on that. I can write a book on that actually. And all this talking, hope you're mopping it up, but at the same time, it's good to kind of distract yourself from a pose that is difficult and send the breath. Where is that spot that needs the breath? So hands behind, up and away, and now from the other side. Right goes underneath the left, or hug yourself, and tuck the chin in towards the spine. Where is the breath? Is it full? Relaxing the legs. Send the out breath where it's needed. Slowly begin to exit the pose and hug the knees once again in front of you. And tuck the chin towards the chest. Maybe forehead on your knees or towards the knees. Slowly find yourself into your back and hug the knees again. So laying down flat as much as possible, space out the shoulder blades and see if you can have them flat, lifting the legs towards the chest. And then we'll move knees towards the right. Place your right arm on top of the knees to kind of keep them down. And elevate left hand up towards the sky and then begin to lower it behind you. Breathe. Twists are great for detoxification and also creating more space between the vertebrae and relaxing the nervous system. But also they're restricting the breath as your rib cage is so twisted. So you wanna maybe force in the breath a little bit, all the way into the bottom of the belly, even though you're in twist. And then inhale, knees towards the chest and hug the knees back on your spine. And then maybe move left and right to massage the spine. And the lower back, feel free to do some circles here on the lower back or just moving left and right. What feels good? So we'll move the knees towards the left and hold them down with the left arm. As we elevate the right one up towards the sky and then back. Inhale and exhale, full expression of the breath. You might need your help to just move the breath down, kind of force it in twists. The breath is pretty restricted normally, so we'll have to be extra aware of that. And of course, to get more benefit out of the pose, every time you add breath, you add more intention and potency to the pose. Without the breath, it's just mindlessly slamming yourself into a pose or working out or whatever. It's just so not potent. So you want to always remind yourself about the breath. Is it full? Where is it? And if not full, then you could definitely help it. When you're ready, inhale back into that hugging knees position, moving left and right, massaging the spine. Or if you want to get into a happy baby, get your toes with your hands and then just be a happy baby. Maybe the knees towards the outside of the torso and moving left and right. And when you're ready, find yourself into a comfortable sitting position, comfortable laying down position into Shavasana. We're going to do a meditation with the sound bath here. And I thought it would be good to do chakra meditation since it's a new moon. It would be good to align and reopen all the chakras. If there's anything that blocks any of the chakras, we'll be able to clear that and also seal it later on with the sound bath. So place the palms up next to you and up, and then see if you can move the shoulders a little bit to where there's more space in between them and they're down towards the ground. And then see if you can tuck in the chin so you can make the neck longer. The neck is a beautiful continuation of the spine. And then the feet could be open, long legs, or I prefer to have my feet together in touching each other and bent in the knees because I'm just like so tight, and that helps. It depends, it will change. Close the eyes. Come back to your intention from the beginning of the class. Inhale fully into the belly and exhale. Imagine a red ball of energy spinning all the way down in your tailbone area. It goes through the entire body, red and spinning. Send the breath there. Red and spinning. Wow, that red ball is red and spinning. I'm gonna be playing a rose quartz crystal ball, and it's tuned in 432, the healing frequency of Earth. Red ball spinning. Move on to the next chakra, a little bit higher than the first one, but lower than the belly button. Imagine the orange color of a spinning ball goes through the entire body and spins. This one is associated with the people around us, our attitude towards our limits. The first one is focused on us. second one is going towards the other. Orange wall spinning below the belly button. Next one is a yellow one, and it's in the solar plexus area. Yellow ball of energy spinning through the entire torso in the solar plexus area. Next one is a green one, spinning in your heart area. Green, spinning. Evoking love. Spinning ball expression. What do you need to voice in your life and create boundaries? energy. And inhale white light, love and energy. Exhale white light. It's like you're a channel of energy. And the source is the cosmos, the universe. You could choose to keep laying down, maybe take a nap. Sometimes that's what we need. Or you could choose to begin moving fingertips and toes, find yourself into comfortable sitting position and go on with your day. Or just keep laying down. Remember your intention. Keep it. It's a strong, powerful manifesting time. Thank you for practicing and namaste. Hi. Stopping the video. The recording